My name is Gregory Hall, and I run a business called Compositional Improvisations right here in Alfred, Maine. I make templates which enable classical musicians and others who read music, other musicians, to improvise through sight reading. Now, the situation is this. In the 18th and 19th centuries, improvisation was a vital part of classical music. The greatest performers, like Liszt and Chopin, were also the greatest composers and the greatest improvisers. And improv here was the link. Think of jazz musicians closer to today, like Miles Davis. Greatest composer, greatest improviser, greatest performer. I have a saying that improvisation is at the heart of any living and vital music. Now, the situation, the problem is that classical musicians today don't really know how to improvise. I have this business, I've talked to quite a few of them. They don't know how to start. And classical improvisation is almost non-existent for this reason. Improvisation is generally taught by ear today, and most classical musicians do not play by ear. This was the situation with me, which is why over the last 10 years I have developed these templates for sight reading. I was always a good sight reader, not a good player by ear. So I developed these to teach myself improv, and that's what I did. One of the wonderful things about this is that if performers could start improvising, especially classical performers, they could start to become much more competitive, because most of them just play the same written music over and over again. They could become much more competitive with one another and much more creative, and really start giving back to classical music in a creative way and make it much more important than I think it is today. It plays to their strengths as sight readers, so that's really a good thing. Now, as I said, I've had many inquiries and some buyers. Some people are already using the templates. Now, there are between 20 and 30,000 amateur and classical musicians in this country. And by some estimates, in China alone, there are over 30 million amateur and professional classical musicians. They respect classical music over there. So that's a big potential market. In terms of marketing, speaking of marketing, I have attended a couple of musical conferences, and I've given some concerts of my improvisation, at all of which I've sold templates because people are interested when I'm able to improvise classically. And there's a lot of interest. One school in particular, since there are no texts for this thing, for classical improvisation, is interested in perhaps using this as a textbook. So that's another use down the way. For business model, the templates sell for $20 a piece. They're sold by the American Composers Alliance, a distinguished organization, which is set up to publish. So in terms of costs, publishing is not really a cost. I will sometimes publish my own templates and sell them, as I said, at concerts and conventions. These conventions are the most cost-effective kind of PR, because advertising and PR are really my main costs right now. For the cost of travel and for shipping, I can get it in front of a lot of people, and that's the way I've started disseminating this throughout the country and to some extent throughout the world. So it is the most cost-effective. There's also magazine advertising and the internet. I'm also starting to make a series of teaching videos, which I'm putting online, and I will charge per view, as many have done for lessons. Now, in terms of performances, a very important upcoming thing is ensemble improvisation. I've already done an ensemble improvisation with 3 musicians and me conducting in April 2017 at the Back Cove Music Festival in Portland, Maine, again here in Maine. My next step is to hire a sextet of 6 musicians. That will cost roughly $2,000. The important thing about the sextet is that not only am I conducting it, but I will have probably 2 subconductors who each lead a section of 3 in this case. The really significant thing that I'm searching for with this subconductor thing is to do an orchestral improvisation eventually. You just multiply that out. If I could have this done down in Boston with any orchestra, this would really get this idea of classical improvisation in front of a lot of musicians, not just pianists, but show that all musicians can use this. This is pretty important stuff, and it's ambitious, but I want to get there. So please stick around for the rest of the video. I show a quick précis on how the templates are used, and also some video of them being used in an ensemble improvisation, as I said. So stick around for the rest of the video. Thank you. Using these examples from the sample template, start out on page 1 by playing the music as if it's traditional written music. Then, start randomizing small segments of the treble and bass clefs. This kind of playing will allow you to start reading music in a non-linear fashion, to begin to be able to mix and match music from different places in the template. Switching to page 2, you will notice that the left-hand groups are the same as they were on page 1. You may also start off playing this page as if it were just ordinary written music. Then start to randomize as you feel more comfortable. Soon, you can go back and forth improvisationally between the two pages while preserving the same left-hand chord patterns, and begin to improvise around them as well. And here is only one of an infinity of possible improvisations. More recently, I have become involved with ensemble improvisation. Here is a clip from the first ensemble improvisation, performed in April 2017 at the Back Cove Festival in Portland, Maine. Again, thanks for watching the entire video, and remember, keep improvising.